Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Kane from Kane's Kitchen, and I'm back to do another video. Basically, this video is about making dinner for your family, quick and easy. What we're gonna do tonight is I have some quarters, some chicken leg quarters, and I'm just gonna pan sear them and then finish them off in the oven. And then I'm gonna actually do some steamed vegetables. So I know a lot of us are at home these days and we're trying to figure out different ways to feed our families. Maybe one spouse is at home, the other spouse is working. So, I grew up with, my mom and dad. My mom works, my dad works, but mom got home before my dad. So I grew up watching my mom make sure that dinner was ready before my dad got home. I don't know if it's a West Indian thing, but that's the way I saw my mom doing it. So anyway, I am the one at home, and I am going to make sure that everybody is fed on time come this afternoon. So right now, what I'm doing is just prepping the vegetables. These are asparagus, and I'm cutting the bottom halves off of them because nobody wants to eat that hard stalk. So I got those in there. I've got some prepackaged carrots and broccoli, and these are all going to be steamed. So right now, I'm just dumping everything into one big bowl here, and there's a pot on the stove behind me that we're going to put some water in, and then closer to the time when the chicken is done, I will go ahead and put those in so they can be steamed. In the meantime, I've got my broccoli, and I'm gonna cut up a little more broccoli to add to my steamed vegetables. So we would get those ready, I guess, after the chicken is done, or close to the time the chicken is done. All right, one rule of thumb that I like is whatever it is, vegetable or meat, always rinse. Always rinse before you actually start cooking. Okay, want to make sure that whatever it is that came across in that package is rinsed off. You don't know whose hands been on them. You don't know where they've been sitting in some warehouse. So, rule of thumb. So right now, I have my vegetables. As you can see, I have my vegetables in a bowl, and I'm going to rinse them right after, or just right before the chicken is done. All right, speaking of chicken, we're doing leg quarters. As you can see, they're still in the package. I'm going to take those out, and like I said, before you cook anything, take it out of the package, make sure you clean and rinse them. Okay, get all that stuff off of them. I usually cut them, but this time I'm going to keep them whole, pan sear them, and then we'll finish them off in the oven. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back, and I went ahead and I washed off all the chicken, rinsed them off real good. One trick that I wanted to let everybody know, especially for you beginners who are afraid of cooking or apprehensive about cooking stuff, what you want to do is make sure you clean your chicken, or clean your meat, basically. Here we got chicken, but you want to try to pat them dry also, okay? The seasonings that you put on your chicken will stick a whole lot better to dry chicken than it would to wet, watery chicken. So right here, I got 2 casserole dishes that I'm going to actually season the chicken in, and then there's a pan behind me that I'm going to put some olive oil in, and I'm going to pan sear those before putting them back into the casserole dish and sticking them in the oven at 350 degrees. If all goes well, these things get seasoned up real good, and you probably keep them in there for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. At the end, if you want a nice crispy golden top, I suggest turning the oven off and maybe put it on broil for about, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how, quickly a broiler, how quickly it gets started. But another thing too, when you're seasoning chicken, or any meat for that matter, don't be afraid of seasoning, okay? I'm not going to use tablespoon and teaspoon measurements here, but I'm going to let you know, I usually do it by eye or by sight. So I have some Italian seasoning that's going to go on it, some paprika. I got some garden vegetable, of course, salt and pepper, and onion powder, garlic powder, and we're going to throw in some thyme. So all of that, and I'm going to actually sprinkle it with some olive oil. I have my olive oil here. I'm just going to pour it over the chicken, and that probably is about a good tablespoon. Okay, tablespoon per casserole dish. Okay, make sure you got your hands nice and clean. Okay, because we're going to rub around with our hands, and I'm going to generously add salt. Okay, you're not going to over salt. Meat very rarely does it absorb a whole lot of salt. Okay, of course, if you're heavy-handed, you know, be careful what you put on. I probably just put about 2 tablespoons of salt onto the chicken. Then I have some black pepper here that I'm going to sprinkle on the top. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle over here as well. Finish this off because this is almost done. All right, so we're going to toss that. I got some garlic powder. Okay, I think anything that you're cooking should always have onion powder and garlic powder in it, no matter what. Those are the staples. If you don't have those two, then you're missing out on a whole lot of flavoring. So here we're going in with some onion powder. Okay, over here with the onion powder. Okay, these are some really big pieces of meat, so that's why I'm kind of free falling here. Here's some Italian seasoning. Okay, that's about a tablespoon and a half. Here we got some paprika. Okay, tablespoon here, tablespoon there. Now, we're gonna add some vegetable seasoning to it. Like I said, don't be afraid, you're not over seasoning. Okay, don't be afraid to season your meat. Okay. All right, got the vegetable seasoning in, and then lastly, got a small package of thyme here, so you can either use fresh thyme or packaged thyme. It doesn't matter really. I'm just going to sprinkle it a little bit on the top here, and a little bit on the top over here. All right, so we got all the ingredients, all the dry and the wet that I'm going to put on. Now, with your clean hands, okay, you're just going to massage it. All right, as I said, I'm going to put some more paprika on this. In fact, I'm just going to drizzle the chicken quarters here with a little bit more olive oil. All right, I've heard that people say that once they put olive oil on it, it gives it a nice crispy, the skin gives, comes out nice and crispy. So I'm gonna give that a shot. And then here's paprika. I'm gonna sprinkle some more paprika on top of it. All right, like I said before, don't be afraid to season your chicken. Nobody wants to eat light-skinned chicken. All right, now, rule of thumb, some people, after they've seasoned their meat or chicken, whatever, poultry, whatever meat you're using, they like to let it sit. Okay, I am not that way. Once I season, I like to put it right into the pan sear. And we're going to use some, and then we're going to start pan frying. All right, here we are now. Okay, you guys can't see me in this one, but that isn't the most important part. The most important part is that you see the chicken going into the pan. All right, and then like I said, we're gonna go ahead and pan sear these and then pull them out and put them into the oven to finish off. Listen to that nice sizzle. Yeah, these things are monstrous. So I'll probably only be able to get 3 in at a time. Okay, but like I said before, all we're doing here is pan searing. Okay, so the stove is up high. The flame is up high, and we're just going to get a nice crisp on the front of the chicken and then the back of the chicken as well. So we're looking maybe about 3 to 4 minutes per side. And then once we're finished doing that, we'll return them back to the casserole dish and get them into the oven. All right, guys, we are to the point now where we're ready to stick them in the oven. As you can see, all of the chicken has been pan seared. Okay, and what I've done is I've taken the I guess the broth, if you will, that was in the pan, and once I got them back into the casserole dish, I just poured that broth right over it. And here's the other one. So now we're going to set the oven for 350 degrees, and we're not going to cover them. We're just going to put them in just like this, and we're going to pull them out in about 30 minutes. So keep your eye on them. Just looking at it right now, you might think, if you walked in the door, you might think it's ready. I don't actually cook to what the meat looks like. I cook for the internal temperature. In fact, one thing that you need in your kitchen is one of these. Okay, internal temp tells you the internal temperature. You turn it on. You go to the thick part of the breast for chicken. Right now, this is at 115 degrees. Actually, it's about 120. Okay, for chicken to be done, completely cooked, you want the internal temperature to be around 155 to 175. I usually take it out around 175 degrees. That's how I know the chicken is cooked all the way through. And you stick it through the fattiest part of the meat. Never determine your chicken by the way it looks. So now that we know that these things are gonna go into the oven, we are gonna pop them in, let them sit in there for about 30 minutes, and then pull them back out. roughly right before we pull them back out, we're going to take our vegetables that we have here and we're going to steam those so they can be ready when the chicken is done. All right, we'll see you back in about 30 minutes. So here we are, and we're going to put this into the meat, registering at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. This is at 194. This is at 175. 175. 175. 186. All right, so judging by the thermometer here, the meat is cooked all the way through. So we're going to put this back up, turn it off. And once the vegetables are done, basically just plate your vegetables and put your, put your chicken next to it. That's how we're going to plate it today. We're going to stay away from carbs tonight. No potatoes, no rice. So it's basically baked chicken and steamed vegetables. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please stay tuned to my channel. There are going to be more videos posting soon. Thanks. If you have any questions, just send me an email. Thanks. Bye.